They told me they had a video to start it off. I didn't know it was that one. What a trip down memory lane. That was literally the very, very beginning of television. I may be the only guy who has more hair at 40 than he did at 30. But you know, happy to be here. Thanks so much to Broadloom for having me. Great room, amazing setup. So going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing now, the technology that's in place. Hopefully that'll translate to your business and the way we're going about solving problems in a very different way. So we're going to start just with a bit about me for some context. Been in the construction and design world for 20 plus years now. Self-taught designer. Did not go to school for construction and design. I went to business school following in my father's footsteps. He's worked for himself all his life. Really great work ethic, which is directly where I take mine from. And then after college, we started a development business together. This development company we ran for 12 years, renovated somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 square feet of really architecturally significant buildings throughout Jersey City and Hoboken. Survived 2008. That was not fun. We cut the ribbon on a brand new building in the day that Lehman Brothers went out of business. We had a $7 million loan out. The entire left side of gray on my beard is dedicated to those few years. It was, when I say sleepless nights, it was massive. But it taught me an absolute ton, resilience being among the top of those. And one of the guys that worked for me had a great phrase. It's easier to give life than it is to resurrect. So working in these old buildings really set the stage for where I am now at Welcome, where we're building ground up homes, which is much more paint by number than it is when you're solving the problems of 115-year-old buildings. A lot of complex problems, and a lot of fun and a lot of fun solving them. So in 2010, my cousin and I tripped into HGTV. When I say tripped, literally a friend was at an open house and heard me speaking to some potential buyers and said, you're so passionate about this, you should have a TV show. I said, oh, I guess it's that simple, huh? It just works like that. You just get a TV show. I didn't know, but it was true. She followed us around for a day with a camera, cut together some really basic footage, sent it in blindly to a production company, and the person who owned that production company happened to have a roommate in college who now worked at HGTV. They saw the footage, rest is history, we're on HGTV. So it literally was that simple. Would not recommend that as a business plan, but it did work. So through that process of HGTV, we got to give people a lot of homes. And I saw what the power of that was, transforming somebody's life in that way. So much so that Ellen was looking to partner with some guys from HGTV, and it happened to be us because of the way we went about the way we went about handling our television shows. So we wound up doing over 20 episodes with Ellen, giving back to really deserving fans of hers. And then that translated into a digital series, to multiple digital series with her that were dedicated on the Ellen Digital Network. And again, focused on giving back to people in need, to people who deserved it, through the power of home and design. One thing I love to note in these chats, I know how much HGTV does a disservice to our entire industry. Top to bottom, across the board, they don't teach anybody shit. And it is one of the big reasons I started the Build TV, which I'll talk about in a second. But it was a massive, massive point of frustration for me, and one of the big reasons that we don't do the show anymore. Education is absolutely key. Understanding timeframes, absolutely key. And cost of materials. People think, oh, I can renovate my kitchen in a half hour. It's not exactly the greatest expectation to set. And I say that because as we run through this presentation, I'm going to talk more about being a thought leader in your industry and helping to educate folks as a tool for marketing. delivering value without the expectation of receiving anything in return is massively powerful to the people you will end up doing business with. And it's very inexpensive. You just can't be afraid of a camera. So the Build TV, that is a personal project that I started strictly because of what I just said. I was really frustrated by HGTV, them not wanting to put more education on screen, only the pretty pictures, and really not give a full picture of what is required for entire home renovation. So the Build TV was born right here, and it was simply, let's create a digital series that is as much fun as the HGTV shows are, but actually gives some valuable, actionable information that people can use to get themselves through their home renovations. That information is focused on project management. Well, firstly, planning, because that's the thing that HGTV leaves out completely. Planning, project management, products, because there are so many of them in the industry. So what this should be saying to you is finding somebody like myself, finding influencers, finding people to talk about the things that you're selling in an intelligent way to their already built-in audiences, help amplify your message. So those three P's are absolutely key to what I wanted to do on the Build TV. I did season 1 renovating my firehouse in Jersey City. I was able to buy an old firehouse from the city when they were selling it. It was first our office for Brunelleschi Construction, and then when my dad decided he was retiring, I bought him out of that building and converted that property. Second season, which is out now, if I can do a little self-promotion there, the website is the name of the network, so it makes it very easy. The second season is focused in the Catskill Mountains, so wanting to educate folks about doing a renovation in an urban environment, municipal services, the challenge and the time it takes to get permits, about 8 or 9 months in Jersey City, versus working in a rural area, propane hookups, well water, septic systems, talking about bears with the building inspector and getting your permit written in 15 minutes for $250. Like, these are the differences between city and country work. So you know, wanting to focus on two very distinct areas to educate people about the differences that occur in the location that you're doing your renovation. And you know, really the passion behind design and construction for myself, all of these three pieces of my career combined showed that transforming people's homes, you know, really transforms people's lives. There's a lot of pride in one's home. So even to transform just part of that experience for somebody, you know, when we're giving those homes back, you could see people, shoulders not up around their ears, you know, just feeling that sense of pride in their home. I think every aspect does that. I think a newly painted room to new floors does that. So, you know, that ability to change somebody's life, whether you're getting paid for it or not. I mean, obviously, we're all in business to make money here. Just because it's a transactional experience doesn't mean that it doesn't transform somebody's life. So all of these things bring me to Welcome Homes. We'll talk a little bit about what we're doing here. And if you saw the title slide, yes, we are selling homes online. First of its kind. Oh, I got to hit this button and that button. First of its kind online home seller. So you can come to our website, select a house, check out, and we will build that house for you in approximately 6 months. To do that, we are using technology and a repeatable process to bring outsized value to our customers. We'll get into the online studio builder in the next slides, and more about our land logic algorithms. But the idea here is creating home as a product. So you walk into a store, you take something off a shelf, everybody in this room can buy the same thing. Our thesis is that by producing a number of models that we can repeat over and over again, we can amortize the costs of me, our architecture, our engineering, our civil, across all these different homes. We don't have to re-engineer each and every one of them. That combined with being a venture-backed company and being able to take outsized risks, which I know is not available to everybody, but there are things that translate and that I do believe are valuable as well. And last but not least, we have a guaranteed all-in price. So, you know, whether it's supply chain or lumber going through the roof or my flooring contractor wants to write me a change order, our customer doesn't get a change in price. So I think that is to say that while we're going to talk about some technology stuff and some ways to solve problems in a different manner using technology, don't forget that there are non-technological solutions that will completely disrupt what you're doing in your industry. And a guaranteed all-in price for us is one of those things. Who ever heard in construction about not being charged a change order? Holy shit, does your anxiety go away? Like, you're able to actually understand what your all-in budget is. So it was a massive, massive thing for us to be able to offer that, and we stand by it. Now, the technology component, our online studio builder, you can literally go on our website and virtually walk through our home in lifelike renderings, 360, you can see every single room, and you can make choices. We allow our clients to design their home right on the site. Not customize, although we do have some customizations we'll talk about, but they are able to design their home. They have choice. And then our land selection app, because we're providing a service end-to-end here, allows them to find the perfect piece of property that we have vetted using technology. We've got some crazy smart people writing a lot of stuff I don't understand at all. But what I do know is that in the end, it produces a phase 1 and phase 2 report autonomously that gives us 90 to 95% confidence that the piece of land that is listed on our website, you can build any one of our model homes on. So having a one-stop shop for people to be able to arrive at, customize, design their home, and then select land with 90% confidence that we can build that house. And by the way, it's 100% before they close. We're not asking anybody to write any checks until they're 100% certain. But beyond that, once that land is selected, we're able to give them that all-in price right when they're on the website. We don't have to wait. Because of the amount of technology we've written, we have done an immense amount. Now, just to be clear, because I learned this when I went to work at Welcome, technology is awesome to the end user because you're interacting with that technology. But to get that tech built, it's all the manual work that nobody else wants to do. So we have people crawling through god-awful municipal websites, finding rules, zoning regulations, doing costing analysis on various types of land, rocky soil, sandy soil, clay, et cetera, so that all these rules are written into our engine, and then we use a license from what's called OpenGIS, which is imaging software that tells you the various different types of topography that you have and what's in that soil, that allows us to make decisions based on the computer without ever sending an engineer to a site, without ever hiring a human being to give us the exact cost of the site prep. So without having to do months of work to get somebody a quote, we're able to tell them cost of the land prep, and cost of the house, total all-in price, guaranteed, and then they can make their decision, buy or don't buy. So really, really, really utilizing technology to what I consider to be an epic degree. I mean, I'm a self-proclaimed nerd. I've spent most of my career working by myself as a solo practitioner, but in moving to Welcome Homes and seeing what can be accomplished with the team of people that we have when you put real technology in place is absolutely incredible. So let's talk more about my specific area of expertise. So our design philosophy and the ability to personalize these homes. So to me, good design is all of these things. we want to be thoughtful. So, well, actually, let me back up a second, because I had a few additional notes I put on the iPad, which is why I have it with me. The mind never stops. So where I want to start with this, actually, is about choice itself. And that is, customers are not looking for unlimited choice. If you haven't read The Paradox of Choice, Barry Schwartz, really interesting book, highly recommend it. I'm about halfway through it myself. Really cool. But there's a lot of product in this world. And I'm not suggesting that, you take 90% of it off your shelves. You need to have it to satisfy the needs of anybody who comes through the door. But what I do encourage is the addition of somebody in your organization who has a design sensibility, or somebody you can lean on or outsource or consult with that has design sensibilities, to allow you to be up on trends, to work with folks who can put some designs together, or who can work with homeowners who have already made a bunch of other design decisions to really tailor their needs and reduce the amount that they need to look at in order to get to that choice. So thoughtful, did we take the time to consider the details? Did we work through the entirety of the floor plan that we put together for a new model? Deliberate. Did we do it with intention? Is each space there for a reason? Can we explain this to a customer? Efficient. Does the floor plan flow? Does it make sense in the context of life? We're designing homes without even knowing the customer yet. It's a challenge. It's one I'm excited about and something I've never done before. Usually you get your customer and you make a custom design to them. In the efforts to make this a product, we're placing calculated bets. And we're trying to execute on that. So we're looking at how do most people do something, and then taking that bet. Quality. Now, quality is twofold. Product and construction, right? So when you're a company that leans on technology and you have super realistic, lifelike renderings, you're super screwed if the build comes out wrong, right? If it looks like shit when you're done, they've got a perfect representation of what it's supposed to look like. So, really attention to detail. Now, we are keeping project management in-house in order to do that, but these homes are being built, traditional stick built, and we're working with vetted general contractors. And which I'll talk more about in an upcoming slide. Approachable. So do people see themselves living here? Elevated, yes, we want things elevated, but never pretentious. I understand designers who are passionate about their work, but there's no need to be an asshole, right? Like, you don't have to turn your nose up. It doesn't have to be so precious that it goes beyond people's understanding, or maybe better said, it makes people feel like they don't want to be a part of that because that's not the way they act. So the approachability translates through our entire organization. It's cultural from the way we interact with people. While I'm talking about technology and trying to do something very different, I think it's really important to understand that we're a very young company and that we're still a very high-touch company. Asking people to spend 6 or 7 figures on a website has not been done before. Like, it's an expensive purchase. So we have customer experience folks that walk people through every decision. I still meet with every single customer, and we go through design decisions together. It doesn't matter that they can't make a mistake. They want to talk to the person that designed the home. They want to know that I'm a human being, that I care, and that I'm going to take the time with them to walk them through it. Now, at scale, can we do that? No, but we're solving our problems one at a time. And right now, keeping that high-touch environment while we continue to figure out that product market fit is super important to us. So approachability is a really, really big one for me. And then attainability. High quality, but not at something that is cost prohibitive. We are selling our homes right now at $200 a square foot. Land is our big variable. I think mistakenly, but we are where we are. We launched in the Northeast, and it is super expensive to buy land 45 minutes to an hour outside New York City. So we do have, by the time our homes are configured with land and site prep, there's a bunch of homes that are in the million plus, $1.5 million, $1.75 million range. But when you move down to a Nashville, when you move to other areas of the country where land is more attainable, that pricing structure becomes quite a bit less. And when you're looking at a home, just as the home stands, $200 a square foot is a super affordable home. And then above all else, good design is personal. And that's why we have introduced choice into our product. So the Oasis family of products is what we launched the company with. It's a transitional home with modern leanings, very highly functional kitchens. So to talk about product quality, all the homes are spec'd with Kohler fixtures and with Bosch appliances. We've actually just introduced trim lines, not dissimilar from vehicles, in order to get people in the homes at a more affordable price. So our base level trim is now Delta fixtures and GE Profile appliances. You come up to a premium trim, you're at your Kohler and your Bosch, and then at your premium plus trim, you're at your Roll and your Miele appliances. Just to give you a sense of the level of quality that's in the home. Great light is something that was absolutely key to us. A lot of glass, that outdoor space, blurring the lines between indoors and out. Multi-slide glass, making sure it's a well-designed environment, as well as the interior of the home is. And then, offering a lot of choice, as I mentioned, which is actually this slide. So the personalization of the home. We have 9 exterior looks, we have 3 kitchen looks, 3 bathrooms, and 3 hardwoods. All of these things work with the others, and they can all be selected by the customer, which does not change the price of the home at all. So we're introducing professionally designed spaces that actually give people choice, light, dark, and the introduction of some color into the cabinetries as well, to allow people to really design the home that speaks to them. But it's also choice without paralysis, right? You've got a limited amount of things to look at, and you're not looking at designing cabinetry, countertops, backsplash, faucets, lighting, paint, the list goes on. So utilizing professionals in their field to limit the amount of choice that's out there, to let people make decisions with confidence, we are finding works extremely well. If we have any hurdle, it's finding people the perfect plot of land to get them on. But in terms of the design, people are signed up for the homes across the board. We're actually breaking ground on our first house next week, which we're all very excited about. And we've got 12 homes in various stages of the sales pipeline, and we just started selling in March. So it's a really, really exciting time with all of this. And like I said, we removed the possibility of the mistakes. So on my end, we spent our time, my design team, my architecture team, working through all the combinations of all the things we were going to offer and making sure that everything worked with everything else. So we took the additional time on our end of things to ensure that customers couldn't make a mistake. Now, again, it doesn't matter necessarily. People still want to talk to you. People still want to interact because it is a big purchase for them. Here you can see our exterior looks, again, transitional, so that blend of traditional and modern design languages. We are going to be introducing different family models. But this is where it's all started for us. So the 2 current home models that we've got, the Oasis Flex and the Oasis 4, they've been designed specifically to meet different land requirements. So, you've got different setbacks and different size plots of land. So as we've been moving through our land logic, we've been designing homes to allow us to get on the most amount of land possible while keeping the design aesthetic congruent between the models. And then this is what we've got coming in 2022. We've got a modern farmhouse that we're going to be launching, and an entire modern line of homes as well. So really, really excited about that. So company philosophy and a few takeaways here. So for us, it's customer before company. They are constantly in focus, so much so one of our co-founders is absolutely fanatical about it. In every big meeting we have, it's always lens of the customer, lens of the customer. I happen to agree with the last gentleman who was on stage. I think that your employees, assuming we're talking mostly owners here, they are your main focus. But as a company objective, you've got to have that customer in mind when you're making decisions on how you're going to pivot the mix of what you have in your stores or the businesses you're going to be going after. So using the lens of the customer always ensures that you're making the decision from the right place. It's not about making the decision with only them in mind. It's about keeping them in mind when you're making the decision to fully understand the scope of the direction you're going to be going in. Think big and keep it simple. If you want to do something new, you need to think about old problems in new ways. So really taking the time to step outside of what everybody else is doing or taking the same idea and trying to really think about things in new ways, attacking problems that have never been attacked that way before. That's what's going to separate you and set you apart. And then optimizing for the finish line. This is just a tech way of saying don't solve the problem just for tomorrow. When you're solving problems, make sure they've got longevity to them so that you can solve it once, and then continue to execute on that, moving everything forward. So that wraps it up for me. If you guys have any questions, I am happy to answer. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Try not to dome anybody.
I'm curious how many homes you guys have built in the last year.
Yeah, so I was just mentioning we're just breaking ground on our first one next week. So this is a new company. Took a lot of time to get technology written, products and processes and procedures in place. So we're breaking ground, first home next week, and then we've got 12 in the pipeline that are short to follow after that.
A quick follow-up. Who's your flooring supplier?
What's that?
Who's your flooring supplier?
We're going to figure that out in the next couple of days.
Any other questions?
I didn't really have a question, but
Yeah.
I've got my Class A contractor's license in a commercial construction company as well. The biggest problem we run into doing home additions and stuff is they're never happy with the space. It's a lot smaller than what they thought. Something that could possibly help you if you have a walkthrough of the house already. With the way VR headsets are coming across, if you guys could implement that, maybe rent it out to them or something, then they could see that depth perception and it may help.
Yeah, absolutely love that. We're actually in the process of developing that now and using Google Cardboard to send to customers in advance. So that's an awesome suggestion. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I think there's another mic too. We won't miss you. I love this thing, by the way. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, so I get the concept. So you've got a house as a product. Is this a nationwide focus, or you?
Yes, yeah. So the product market fit bit is just in the tri-state area right now, but as of mid-2022, we're going to start to expand our geos, and we're going to be moving across the country, coast to coast. So we will be looking for a lot of different flooring suppliers.
Yeah, so as a follow-up to that, you say you're managing in-house. Do you intend to keep it that way when you're nationwide?
For the construction management, no, we very much plan to outsource. So we're going to have a small team of construction managers. Right now, you know, in just building new homes and not having anyone in the company touch them before, you know, myself and 2 other employees out of 40 are the only ones with construction and design experience in the firm. So it's paramount in my mind to make sure that not only our construction managers, but everybody in the company is able to understand what transpires on a construction site, so that when they're talking directly to customers, and this goes to you know, obviously to employee education, that they have a real sense of what goes on a construction site and how much coordination transpires, how many points of quality assurance are needed. But once we have that product market fit, once we have that tight-knit team of construction managers, we're going to be hiring out to owners' rep firms, and then we'll be overseeing them. So putting layers in that'll allow us to scale faster and still keep tabs on the quality.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 over here.
So with you going more virtual and you have the digital setup and all the tools and everything, so when a client buys online, say they live in New York, but they're building in my hometown, Iowa, is there a dashboard that they can see, a consumer relation app to where they can see step by step? It's something I've always wanted in the flooring industry, so I'm curious on your platform, do you have that set up where they can log in and see where the house is
Yep.
and how far it is?
Absolutely, yeah. So we've actually got a few things. We've got our customer-facing dashboard, and then we've got our internal dashboard, so that we're able to communicate with our contractors. You know, one of the points I missed saying during the presentation is one of the reasons I loved and took the opportunity with Welcome is because they're focusing the technology on the customer, and the customer is the one that is really used to using technology, right? If they're online to begin with and they have comfort with buying online and making their various selections, it's a great place to focus the technology. What's not a great place to focus the technology is on our general contractors and making them work a certain way, because we're a tech company. So we're a traditionally built, stick-built home. We work with vetted traditional general contractors, and we have a very simple text message-based system. On our end, there's a lot of complexity. It allows multiple people to see things at the same time. On the contractor end, they have 1 phone number. Just text it. That's it. You can text photos to it. You can text basically anything you want, and it gets disseminated to the right people within our organization. But that is all to say that, you know, technology for technology, it's the way I feel about smart home tech, right? Technology for technology's sake is not appropriate in that circumstance. You want things that are going to make the experience better, and you know, we're in a position where we work with an end consumer and we work with an installer, or in my case, a general contractor, and we want to optimize both of those things for those people, and we'll run around like chickens without heads on to make sure all that works until we get it to that perfect balance. In my mind, that perfect balance, as we vet GCs and we move things forward, the people who you can see are excited about technology and are already implementing it in their companies, they're going to rise to the top because they're going to be that much easier to work with. Not to say that, you know, you have any problem working with the folks that aren't using the technology, but it'll be very obvious who's going to make your life easier as you move it forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. There was one, yeah, there we go.
I heard you say that it was $200 a square foot for the home.
Yes.
And I was just curious, is that including the land or that's separate from the land?
That's separate from the land, yeah. Yeah, that, we're allowed to lose money, we're not allowed to lose that much money.
And a follow-up.
By the way, first time in my career I've ever been told I can lose money on a house. That's a strange one for me. I'm still wrapping my head around it.
And then a follow-up is, where do you see the average price area that you can get some concentration in this?
Can you just say that one more time for me?
In other words, where do you see the average price? Like, is it $500,000 homes, $600,000 homes?
Sure.
Where do you see
Yeah,
your
we're
most
like
penetration?
We're in the $850 to $1 million is the sweet spot. That's where the majority of stuff is coming in. But again, that's because land in the tri-state area. So I think very much that's going to shift region by region, geo by geo, based on cost of land in that location and cost of land prep, right? We move to an area that's super rocky, we're going to have much higher land costs. We're in really nice, easy soil, that site prep cost goes way
So you
down.
pretty much have worked out the price of the home excluding the lands.
Yeah, but we're vetting the land. So basically, the simple way to explain it is every piece of land that comes onto the MLS, we scrape that data every Monday. That goes into our system, and our computer runs algorithms on that land, where it's located. So it knows the town, and then it utilizes the zoning code in that town to understand setbacks, FARs, floor area ratios, so we know the coverage that we're allowed to do on that piece of land. If we can fit the appropriately sized septic system, if we have enough room to drill a well and keep it far enough away, what direction the house should face based on the way the land is situated, excuse me. And then through our license with OpenGIS, which is the topographic, we're then able to understand soil types, how rocky a site may be, the different slopes on that site, and that informs specific site cost price.
Sounds like a lot went into that.
Yeah, there's a lot there. But not a single person has to touch that anymore.
So as a person who has built over 15,000 houses, I'm wondering how you're going to handle the warranty, because that is the big deal. Will put you out of business if it's not handled correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're providing comprehensive warranties, and that's the part about being venture-backed. That's the fun part. Our Q1 raise is slated for $100 or $150 million, and there's a lot of runway to get things right there. But I know that's going to be one of our biggest challenges. So getting all of that implemented is what's going on right now, and it's.
When the air conditioner's out, they don't want to hear.
What's that?
When the air conditioner's out in the south, they don't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying to get somebody.
Yeah, I mean, the short answer there is every home comes with a comprehensive warranty. I believe it's 6 years of coverage end to end. So it's pretty substantial.
So the next question is how you get on the list to be a contractor.
Chat with me after this. I'm around all day today, all day tomorrow. So, and we're actively vetting. I don't care if we're not in a geo yet. Like, if there are great contractors in this room, I want to know you.
All right, maybe one more.
All right.
110, whatever.
Just out of curiosity, the first house you're breaking ground on next week, that's not going to be profitable for you, that first one, right?
Hell no.
What? When do you think you're going to be profitable on your first home?
It's a great question. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. And that's a serious answer, unfortunately. Awesome. I guess we're good. Guys, I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of the show.